and welcome to our webinar with parents of the newly accepted class of 2030. My name is John Meuler. I'm the Director of Admissions here at Marquette High School. I graduated from Marquette High back in 2000, and I am thrilled to be able to promote our faith-based college prep education to future generations of students and parents. I will serve as the MC for tonight's webinar. You will get to hear from Father Mike Marco, our school president, and Mr. Jeff Monday, our school principal. They will share some comments on the value of a Jesuit education and our exceptional learning environment. Then we will take some time to answer questions that you have. We will start with some questions that I have already heard from parents, and you can utilize the Q&A feature on your screen to submit questions during our time together tonight. If we don't get to your question tonight, then just know that we will follow up with you later. At this time, I am going to turn it over to Father Marco to lead us in prayer and share some of his reflection on the value of Marquette High School.
Thanks, John, and let me welcome everyone to this webinar tonight, and thank you for your joining us tonight, but more importantly, for your interest in Marquette High and sending your sons potentially to this institution. I'm deeply grateful, deeply grateful. Before I share a couple of reflections, let's just begin our evening together in prayer. So we pray in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Good and gracious God, we give you thanks for the gifts of our lives. We give you thanks for the gift of this day. We give you thanks for this opportunity to gather. And we pray especially for the young men in the class of 2030 and their families, as they continue to discern what is best for their sons as they move on in their educational journey. We ask that you continue to bless these young men, continue to form them into the young men you call them to be, Christ-like men for others who will make a difference in our world. We make this prayer, as always, in Jesus' name. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So John asked me to share just a brief reflection on the benefits of a Jesuit education, and maybe even more specifically a Marquette High education. And I will admittedly state at the beginning of this that I am not the least bit objective in this. As a Jesuit and as president of Marquette High, I hold a special love for this institution and for what Jesuits do in education. If you ask people, especially in the United States, what Jesuits are most noted for, I would venture to guess most people would say education, whether that be in higher ed or in secondary ed, or now even more in elementary education, as Jesuits have gotten involved in education across the board. And I think what is most notable for me about the value of a Jesuit education is Jesuits and our lay colleagues, people who work in Jesuit institutions, are very much about the whole person, right? Academics are absolutely critical. Certainly, we want to be academically excellent, but we really have concern for the whole person. And Jesuits talk about cura personalis, right? Care for the whole person. We want our young men to be intellectually prepared and excellent, but we also care about their physical well-being, their social emotional well-being, their spiritual well-being. And everything we do here is about covering all those aspects. It's not just about earning the highest ACT scores or SAT scores or whatever it might be, but it is really about caring for the whole person. So everything we do is aimed at achieving that goal, caring for the young man in his entirety. We want our young men to be intellectually excellent, but we also want them to be formed in a religious environment. We want them to be loving. We want them to be open to growth, to the challenges that they will face during their 4 years here and to meet those challenges. We want them to be committed to doing justice, right? To know that they have a role to play in our world and can make a difference, can be actors in our world, in a world that needs people who are loving, kind, faithful, and committed to doing justice, committed to seeing what is out there in their world that maybe isn't quite right and needs to be addressed, and that they have a role to play in doing that. I think that's the key piece of Jesuit education, which is of value. As our young men go out into the world, they see themselves as capable because they're intelligent, but they're loving, they're religious, they're open to the challenges, to the growth, and they're committed to being a good person in our world. Again, not the least bit objective, but for me, that's the value of a Jesuit education, that cura personalis, which covers everything that is important in our young men's lives. So I hope as we move forward, and I look forward to, well, we can talk about it later. My role in this is I'm looking to leave Marquette High, but we'll come back to that a little bit later. But I look forward to your sons joining Marquette High and that journey, which will be an incredible experience for them in the next 4 years. So, John, I think that's what I have to start with. If you want to take it from there, thank you.
Thank you, Father Marco, and for your decade of leadership at Marquette High School. Now I would like to introduce our principal, Mr. Jeff Monday. Jeff, when we talk about Marquette High School, we often talk in terms of faith, scholarship, and community. Can you provide some highlights on what a Marquette High education means for a young person's faith, scholarship, and community?
I would be happy to, John. Thank you, and welcome everyone to this webinar. I just want to begin by commending you for really taking a serious look at what may be best for your son's secondary education. High school are probably the four most important years of a person's life, and we just want to express our gratitude to you for considering Marquette University High School for your son in his 4 years. Also want to congratulate you and your sons for certainly the acceptance and the possibility of experiencing a Marquette High education. John talked about really the three areas that Marquette High is most noted for, and that being faith, scholarship, and community. And I'm happy to discuss those three areas before we jump into some of the specific questions that were submitted for this webinar. In terms of faith, and Father Marco alluded to this in his opening comments, our mission is really to see that our young men are living lives of faith. Our responsibility as a school is to bring out their God-given gifts in a way that they can bring those gifts forward in service to the world. And we do this in a number of different ways. You know, our mission is to form Christ-like men for others who come not to be served, but to serve. And the ways that we do that are certainly through the different opportunities that we take for worship, our masses, our prayer services. We begin every school day in prayer. 4 days in the week, we spend 3 minutes in silence reflecting on different prompts in our examen. And it's amazing that as an entire school, we remain in silence considering the ways that God has touched us during the course of the day. All students take 4 years of theology. So every semester, students are in theology classes. And in those theology classes, students are given an opportunity to really understand the depth of faith experience in the world, and in particular, their Catholic faith. Now, not all students are Catholic, but they learn the different elements of living the gospel, of being a true Christian. And that's what our theology program is really centered on. Jesuits, as Father Marco stated, are certainly known for education. They're also known for retreats. And at Marquette High, we have just really an excellent experience that's provided to students in helping them understand themselves, getting to know their relationship more closely with God and with one another. So that's really what our retreats are centered on. We offer retreats during the freshman, sophomore, and senior years, something that as students look back at their Marquette High experience, they describe really being a pinnacle experience of what helped them become the man that they were intended to become. The other way that we really focus in on faith is providing students with service experiences. So service is embedded in the Marquette High experience all 4 years. So as freshmen, your sons will have an opportunity to again use their gifts in service to others, both within the school and outside of the school. We're really blessed here at Marquette High that we have committed mission-based educators and administrators that really will work with your son in a way, again, to bring out their gifts and develop their faith lives. We also have currently working in the school 7 Jesuits. Some of those Jesuits, 5 of them are ordained priests, and 2 are Jesuits in formation. So really fortunate to have a Jesuit presence in the school. The second area that I wanted to touch on is that of scholarship. Of course, as a college prep school, we're proud of our record of success, the record of success that our students have shown through their academic work. Marquette High is known as one of the best academic institutions in the state of Wisconsin, and we're proud of the hard work of our students and really the excellence in teaching that occurs here at the school. We are a college prep school, as you know, and what that means is that students experience their courses in a way that prepares them well for university work. We just yesterday, in fact, had a college fair inviting back our young alumni so that they could talk to the current students about their experiences in college. And it was just so interesting to hear from them in that they stated that all of their academic experiences here at Marquette High prepared them so well for their academics, their studies in college or university. So that was really gratifying to hear from them. With the rigorous education that students receive here, they're also experiencing the support of a caring faculty. Faculty want to do all that they can to meet students where they are and help develop their academic skills so that they are as successful as they can be in their courses, in their studies. So that's really the mission, the approach that we take, taking a rigorous college prep approach, as well as doing so in a caring, supportive way. We don't assume anything, given that in our school, students have come from about 150 to 160 different middle or grade schools. So we know those academic experiences are different. And again, what our approach has been is to meet students where they are and to help them along in their journey academically. We have here in the school 29 courses that are either advanced placement or dual credit courses. In those courses, students during the course of their time here have an opportunity to earn college credit. And that really benefits the students as they matriculate onto college, and that they use those college credits to help them advance in their college experience. Sometimes enables them to pick up a minor or to have experiences that typical students would not be able to have, given that they come to college already having earned college credit. I stated before that we really take a caring approach, a supportive approach in responding to the academic needs of our students. We have students who have learning differences that they come to the school with. We have students who have identified learning differences as they enter in and experience the great work of teachers in their classes. And what we provide to students is really an approach to building skills in their coursework. But then in addition to the good work of the teachers, we have different academic support programs that enable students to receive any support that may be necessary to, again, allow them to achieve at the levels that we know that they are fully capable of achieving. So again, as we describe it, it's college prep, it's rigorous, coupled with really the support and the care that your sons deserve and oftentimes will need as they experience a Marquette High education. As you look at the performance level of our students. I'm just so proud of where our students are in terms of the performance. We boast one of the highest ACT composite averages for a high school in the state. What I think I'm even more proud of is the growth that students show from where they start. And we measure that using the pre-ACT assessment. And then in their junior year, second semester, we test them using the ACT. And the growth that they show really outpaces what one would expect over the course of those 3 years. So again, it's a real nod to the hard work of the students and the excellent instruction that the students receive in their courses. Again, I keep pivoting between the performance of the students, the rigor that they experience, and the support that they receive. All of our students receive an academic advisor during their 4 years. Even freshmen have an academic advisor that they work with. And the role of the academic advisor is to see that the students are receiving the supports that they may need, as well as to see that they're doing well socially, that they're getting involved, that they're growing in their leadership, that they have an opportunity to experience all of the great things Marquette High has to offer. In addition to the academic advisors, we have a team of school counselors that are outstanding in meeting the needs of students, social emotional needs of students. And then finally, we have a team of expert college counselors that provide students all 4 years what is needed as they look ahead at their college experiences. So again, really taking a holistic approach in the care of the students. And then finally, the community aspect of Marquette High. And when you talk to Marquette High families, and I think we have some current parents that are in the webinar, what oftentimes students and parents speak about is the community that is Marquette University High School. And the community is defined by a number of different things. It's defined by the brotherhood that students describe, the love that they have for one another, the support and care that they offer one another. All of our leadership positions in the school, those students are charged with responsibility around the care for younger students mostly. And so to see students caring for one another, supporting one another during times of success and as well during times of challenge. Our community is defined by the diversity that really brings out the richness in the school as a whole. And diversity is racially, socioeconomically, religious, geographic diversity. Marquette High is a destination high school. We have students that are coming to us from over an hour driving distance to as close as walking distance away from the school. So, to see students coming together, united in purpose to achieve and grow in the 3 areas of faith, scholarship, and community is really a special thing. One of the ways that community and its sense of belonging is experienced here at Marquette High is through involvement. Involvement in co-curricular activities, involvement in such things as intramurals, which occurs during the school day, as well as in our homeroom program. We have 47 different co-curriculars, such things as robotics, rock climbing, the prep players, our drama and theater program, our Jesuit Honor Society, the Science Olympiad, so many things that match the interests of students to activities that they can really sink into and show their interest and grow in community with others. We have 17 sports that Marquette High offers. Every season, we offer no-cut sports. So every student is provided an opportunity to get involved. Our role, our responsibility is to see that students are valued, they feel that sense of belonging, they feel that brotherhood, that community that defines Marquette High. And while doing their activities, are growing in leadership and character. So that's what defines the community. And I know that we'll we'll dive in deeper to those three different areas. But I'm just again grateful for the time that you're spending here in learning more about an education at Marquette University High School. So I'll turn it over to you, John. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. And I'll start with a question for both of you. So maybe Mark, you can talk to give Jeff a little bit of a break. But sometimes I hear questions about the all-boy environment at Marquette High School, and Jeff was talking about it in terms of this brotherhood. But could you share a little bit of what you've noticed during your time about the benefits of the all-boy environment at Marquette?
Yeah, thanks, John. I get this question a lot, actually, when we're out talking about why Marquette High. And, my first response to this question is always when you look at an area, whether it's Milwaukee or Omaha or Cleveland, and I've worked in Jesuit schools in all those places. And you want to make sure that good Catholic education is available to as many kids as possible, that it's really imperative that you have really solid options in single sex, whether it's all girl or all boy, but also in co-ed institutions, because different kids will respond differently and the environment will benefit them. So you really need solid options in each of those. That being said, I believe the value for an all boy environment, especially for our young men, is that when we look at opportunities that present themselves throughout a given academic year and things that kids can participate in, the various extracurriculars. In a co-ed institution, and I was president of a co-ed institution in Akron, Ohio, I noticed that young men would typically only sort of participate in activities that would be defined as kind of stereotypical male, right? So they're in athletics. They may be in student government. They may be in other things where they feel like that's a guy's thing to do, right? But they would shy away from things like theater and music participation, campus ministry programs, retreat leadership. And I noticed that because coming to Marquette High and seeing, again, our boys participate in all these activities, if we're going to have these programs, it's got to be the boys that take on these leadership. And I think it's incredible how it can help them really realize that it's okay to be a gentle, loving person and to be able to express that, right? I marvel when I participate in a Kairos retreat and the affection that the boys can share with one another openly without concern about being seen as whatever, right? It is significant. And I think it provides our young men a safe area to simply get in touch with who they are and how they can be a loving person in the world and not worry about being labeled in any way, that can be perceived as negative, right? It is a huge benefit for our young men to be able to walk the halls and to be able to show affection and care for one another. Jeff talked about the brotherhood. I think that brotherhood develops precisely because they're in this environment. And Jeff mentioned about the young alums coming back for this college fair yesterday. To see them in the gym yesterday, kind of reuniting, right? Because they've been off at college, now they're back. And the free-flowing love and care and affection for one another, it is so wonderful and beautiful to see. And I think being in an all-male environment, that helps create that environment and that experience for these young men. And yeah, I think it's a special place.
Maybe there are just two other areas that I would like to add to Father Marco's comments, and I agree with everything that Father Marco mentioned. The other area of feedback that we receive often is that our teachers get boys. That when parents experience their son's education, so often we hear, my gosh, your teachers just really understand the teenage male mind and how it works and how best to tap into it. So it's that, but there's also a sense that, we have these ideals that we describe as our grad ideals. And one of those ideals is being open to growth, open to experiencing things that are uncomfortable, areas that there has not been prior experience in. And I believe firmly that in an all boys environment, students are more likely to take risks and are less concerned about failing and opening themselves up to things that they perhaps had not considered for themselves in the past. So those two aspects, coupled with what you mentioned, Father Marco, is so true for the benefits of an all-male education here at Marquette High.
Thank you, Jeff. You shared certainly in talking about scholarship at Marquette High School about that balance of having real high expectations for students, and we push them. The curriculum is rigorous by design, and also a lot of layers of support. And I do hear from parents who share, I know my son is an average student. And is he going to feel okay at a school like Marquette High School? Is he going to be surrounded by students who are high flying students and feel a little left out of that? So, what steps do we take as a school to help address that sense of academic rigor and high expectations while supporting students who may struggle academically along the way?
Yeah, it's a good question, and one that we talk about often. Our responsibility as educators is to really develop academic skills, and we start day one of freshman year. In fact, we start earlier than day one for those that participate in summer programs. We have a couple of different summer programs that are offered. Our Bridge program, our summer school program that bridges between eighth grade and ninth grade year. And then we have an academic boot camp as well that orients students to the experiences, academic experiences and demands of a Marquette High education. We take a real intentional approach to teaching executive functioning skills. So helping students with time management, learning the attributes of a successful learner, understanding how best to use your learning style and match that up against the demands and expectations that teachers hold for their students. So in freshman year, we really do a lot with skill building. Of course, we're teaching content, we're getting students ready for the rigors of sophomore year, but at the same time, we're helping orient them to the academic skills that are necessary for their success in high school and beyond high school. The other area that we have really centered ourselves on is seeing that, and I mentioned this before, having programs and different interventions that respond to issues when we see that students are perhaps struggling or finding challenges. We don't want students to get into a situation where they're not confident in being a part of this community and in taking on the academic responsibilities that a student embraces in this community. So what we will do immediately is if we see that there are struggles, and there certainly will be struggles for every boy here in the school, our teachers, our advisors, our counselors are ready to jump in to support students along the way as best they can. We have I think, really a unique program. It's a program that actually was profiled in Marquette High's receipt of the National Blue Ribbon School Award, a national recognition for excellence in education. And that program is our freshman advising pay program, where freshmen meet with a small group of students. They're led by a faculty advisor as well as two big brothers, and they talk about some of those academic skills that are so necessary for their success. So yes, if you're concerned about the level of rigor I can assure you that the approach of the school is to meet students where they are, to raise them up so that they are successful as possible. The other maybe final point that I'll make as it relates to the academic experience here at Marquette High, and this may not be for some, especially for perhaps some of the students that may be listening in to the webinar. Marquette High um, enables students to work hard during the school day, but we also have expectations for the students to work hard outside of the school day. So unlike maybe some of the experiences of students that have never had homework, that's not true for a Marquette High student. You know, they learn the content, they learn what they need during the day, but then they're given the opportunity to practice and to deepen their learning through the assignments that teachers give. And so, you know, it's not unusual for a freshman student to have an hour and a half of homework each night or thereabouts. So I do want to be fully transparent in that homework is a part of the educational program here at the school.
And if I could just add to that real quickly, John, from the school side, in terms of resources committed to academic success, the school is absolutely committed to providing significant resources. We've got the Kingsbury Academic Success Center, which helps kids, again, adjust to whether they're coming from a school that expects a lot of homework or not, but to adjust to the rigors here. The school is committed to continuing to provide those resources that we're providing everything these kids need to be as successful as possible.
One thing I found myself reassuring a parent was that getting accepted to Marquette High School means something, right? There are students who got a letter that they weren't accepted to Marquette High School, and those are really hard decisions for sure, from the admissions end and the administrative team here. So when students get accepted to Marquette High School, it means we think your son is going to be successful here, and be able to have a positive experience here. So I try to be really reassuring when families have some of those doubts about their students' academic level, and think of how much growth will happen during those 4 years of high school as well. Middle school is not often our best years of life, right? That we don't peak in middle school, and so it really is. We believe that your son will be able to have a great experience here and be successful. Another question that comes in is regarding students and families who are the only ones from their grade school who are going to be attending Marquette High School, right? And just that feeling of how do I make friends? How do I fit in? Is everybody already going to know each other? And what is that experience like? So, Jeff, maybe you could share a little bit of what are the ways that we support students as they're navigating a new school and making new friends?
Yeah, thank you, John. The concern is a concern that has been expressed quite a bit, and I think it's not understood that every year, on average, we have about 50 students that are the sole representatives of the grade schools that they come from. So first, to know that they're not alone in being the sole representatives, I think is perhaps a consoling fact. The approach that we take is that first we encourage students to get involved in the summer between their 8th grade and 9th grade year to get to know students that will be in their class. So in the class of 2030, the summer programs that are offered, they vary based on the interests of the students. I mentioned some of the academic programs that the school offers. In addition, we have different fitness programs and camps, sports camps and programs, special interest programs. We have a AAA program that gives students some experiences of different areas of the school, different experiences of the school. So in a given class, we have about 80% of the students that participate in at least one summer program, which gives them a sense of getting to know others that will be in the class. We do run a 2-day orientation in August and then have a number of events that lead up to the 2-day orientation in August. And I'm sure, John, you'll talk about some of those events. But our intention there is to see that students are able to meet others that will be in their class and get to know guys as they walk in day one. So the 2-day orientation is getting to know the campus, getting to know classmates, getting to know teachers. Students describe it as just really a fun day that they learned a lot and they felt really welcome and really good about being a part of this community, being a Hilltopper. I mentioned the pay group that all freshmen are a part of. So freshmen meet on a weekly basis with their advisor and their big brothers, and the topics that the students discuss are topics that are really specific to the transition that a student makes from middle school to high school. Some of the social issues that students experience, as well as some of the academic issues that they may encounter. We have in our first semester a fun day. It's called our Freshman Cup Day, and our different pay groups, the freshman groups, the smaller group of freshmen, have some friendly competition with one another. And the day is really aimed to see that they get to know one another and they grow as a unit, as a class. And then, of course, at the start of our second semester, we have our freshman retreat, and that is an experience that so often students look back upon as really being one of those pivotal moments of their high school education here at Marquette. Freshman retreat is a 3-day experience, and the aim with the retreat is to enable students to grow in community, to grow in brotherhood with one another. All of that is taking into account that students have these differences, and one of those differences is being sole representatives from different schools. And of course, the teams, the co-curriculars, the activities that students are a part of the experience as well, so that they feel a part of this community, feel a part of knowing that they really matter and are welcome, regardless of how many students have come from their grade schools.
And as Jeff was mentioning, really the orientation kind of process and onboarding process is starting now, and will continue through this second semester for the class of 2030. So just to preview, basically like once a month, there's an event where we will invite your sons and parents sometimes too invited to these events, so that there is that sense of starting to get a little more familiar with Marquette High, with the building, with folks around here, and then maybe even most importantly, just getting to meet classmates, new classmates, future classmates. So just as a quick preview, at the end of January here in a couple weeks, we'll have our pizza party and basketball game that we're inviting families to. You can bring parents and all children to that pizza party basketball game in February. That's when we have a more formal meeting, but a chance for parents and students to hear about course selection and what that looks like freshman year and thinking about courses next year. In March, we have an open gym for the freshmen only, not parents for that one, but open gym for the incoming freshmen. We call it March Madness, right? Just a chance for them to be able to play a little bit in the gym and have some snacks in the cafeteria. In April, we have something called our activity fair. That's an opportunity for the students to be able to learn about homerooms, and then we'll actually ask them to select their homeroom. So they choose their top 3 homerooms, and they're always able to be matched with one of their top 3 homerooms after that. And then in May, we have something we call Fun Night, which is a collaboration with DSHA, all the incoming freshmen at DSHA. It's hosted at DSHA, which is the all-girls Catholic high school, right? And so that's a social opportunity for the boys and girls to get together. We do a little trivia competition, and then there's a DJ in the gym as well. So really, through this whole second semester, there's going to be many opportunities for students and parents to be able to engage with us and continue to understand what we're all about and experience other families and other students who are joining Marquette High as well. Jeff, I'm going to have another question for you here. There is a new daily class schedule in place this year that had some modifications to our daily class schedule. Can you talk about those updates to the schedule and the impact of that new daily schedule?
Yes, I'm happy to. As a faculty, we spent about a 2-year process of really studying the schedule that Marquette High had in place and looking at opportunities to really improve the schedule and the overall experience of the students. So we have developed the schedule that has been launched this year, and I'm happy to report that when we did a survey a month or two ago of our students, 80% stated that they favor this schedule over the previous year's schedule. And the same is true for our parents as well. The schedule does a couple of things. It has a number of different aspects. The goals of the schedule are such that we want to really give students opportunities to deepen their learning and understanding of the content that they learn. So we're really taking an approach of going deep into content rather than just having a breadth of things that students know and perhaps could learn by using AI. So it's depth of knowledge, depth of understanding that we're focused in on. So how that is lived out in the schedule is that students attend each of their classes 4 days a week, and one of those 4 days, they're in an extended learning time. And the period is 81 minutes, and it gives teachers an opportunity to do such things as science labs or to have project-based learning experiences or having different experiential learning benefit programs that are in place for the students. The use of the 81 minutes really to enable students to understand the content. The other aspect of the schedule is that we have built in during the week flex times, 2 or 3 flex times a week that give students a chance to have access to their teachers. So they sign up in an app that they pull out and are able to report to the room of their teacher to get perhaps some extra help on an assignment that they need some more work on, or to be best prepared for an upcoming test, or if they just would like to expand their understanding of what the teacher taught the previous day. The flex time gives students time during the school day. They don't have to report before school, during lunch, or after school to meet with teachers. They can do so during the school day, during these flex periods. It really benefits students in having the chance to meet individually or in small groups with their teachers. It also provides teachers an opportunity to pull in students that may need some more encouragement or extra work in understanding what it is that's being taught in the different classes. We also use flex times to enable advisors to meet with their advisees. So again, that's an opportunity for the faculty to meet one-on-one with students in talking about their total overall Marquette High experience, certainly their studies, but as well, how are they doing in their involvement? How are they doing socially in the school? How are they doing in terms of the experience of faith? So those times are built in during the week. The final aspect of the schedule is to really give students some breathing room during the day, giving them some opportunities to work on some of the assignments that they receive in their classes and to work with other students that have the same assignments in a way that's constructive. So building in time during the day to have them get a start on the assignments that they would have typically at night is a component of the schedule. It's really about deepening student learning, access to teachers, having balance during the week, and then as well um, expanding the sense of belonging that students have. And one of the ways that we bring out that sense of belonging is through our homeroom structure. So students a couple of days a week meet in homerooms. Homerooms are designed around the interests that students have. So we have a number of different homerooms where students come together and discuss the interests that they have.
Thanks to parents who are typing in questions in the chat. I know that we're not going to get to all these questions, so but feel free to type them in. Like I said, we will follow up with you, particularly when it comes to things like dates of things and when is this going to happen? When are we going to find out? That's really my job in admissions, is to make sure that you're staying informed of those things. So knowing that those dates are important as you're setting summer calendars and things like that, know that I'll be getting that information to you as soon as I'm able to confirm those dates with you. So, but thanks for all those good questions. And then a specific question that came up too, and since we were talking about schedule, I know a hot topic in education is thinking about AI in academics and in education. And I know that we've had faculty teams meeting about this. Of course, this is something all schools are certainly reaching that balance of how to leverage the tool and obviously the pitfalls that can come from using the tool in the wrong way. So Jeff, maybe could you share a little bit about that? What is our approach to AI in education?
I think it's this, you just described, John. It's really taking a balanced approach, recognizing the innovation behind AI and seeing AI as a tool, but not using it as a crutch, not using it in a way that prevents us from thinking and developing our writing skills. So teachers, we've had a number of experiences of understanding the benefits of AI as well as the pitfalls and working with it in a way that ultimately enhances students' education and not taking them back in terms of skills. So yes, it is a hot topic and one that we continue to work with and really give students the best access to what it is that they'll need as they get to the next level in college or university.
There are questions, and I just got an email today too, just wondering about carpooling, transportation, kind of how that works. So I'll provide just a quick outline of what carpooling looks like at Marquette High School. The first important thing to know is that our building hours are more flexible than many schools. So our security team gets here at 6 a.m. Every morning and opens up the building at 6 a.m. It's not as though many students are getting dropped off that early, but that is an option. And I know particularly if parents do have early morning meetings and they've got to get their son to Marquette High early, know that that is an option for being able to drop kids off early at Marquette High School. There are places in the building then that they can go to eat breakfast or study and be able to hang out or be productive until those classes begin. And then the same kind of thing is true after school hours as well. Our school day ends at 3:10, but it's not as though everybody leaves at 3:10 and needs to get dismissed and picked up. First of all, there's lots of activities going on, sports and other extracurricular activities, but there are also places in the building where our students can go to be able to hang out, do some work, be productive while they're waiting for their ride to pick them up. So there's flexibility both on the front end and on the back end when it comes to getting kids to and from school. Specifically with that carpooling network, because we have such a broad reach of geography of families sending their sons to Marquette High School, there are students in every neighborhood in southeastern Wisconsin that has representatives at Marquette High School. And the carpooling network specifically gets opened up in the summer. So typically in July is when you as incoming parents will get the instructions on how to enter into that map so that you can then see and contact those other families that live in your neighborhood. It works out great when there's a junior or senior who's already driving to school and can take some of the freshmen and sophomores with them to school every day. But other times it is parents that are doing that ride share. I can cover Mondays and you cover Tuesdays, and we'll work on getting the kids there together. So certainly there is an element of sacrifice that families make in getting their sons to Marquette High School. But there's also that shared understanding of we were all there when we were freshmen and sophomores and couldn't drive, and want to make sure that we can help other families get their sons to Marquette. So that carpooling network can be a really effective tool then for helping families get their kids to school, to and from school every day. Um, Father Marco, I did want to just follow up with you. Specifically, there was the announcement earlier this school year that this would be your last at Marquette High School. And I know you've described the bittersweet feelings that come along with that. But really, just could you share a little bit of an update on that process for the search for the next president, and just offer a little bit of reassurance of what those next steps look like?
Sure, yeah. So yes, after a decade, 10 years as president of Marquette High, my provincial, who's my ultimate boss, and I had a conversation and discerned that this was the right time for me to step down from Market High and look to kind of another opportunity yet to be determined. I will say this, while I'm excited for what is next for me, that will not make leaving this wonderful place any easier. So I'm definitely focused on kind of the here and now, and making the best of this last semester here at Market High. That being said, the board has put together a search committee. We've put out sort of the announcement that the position is opened, and kind of job descriptions and so on and so forth. We have hired a search firm to help us identify candidates because it's a nationwide search. I've often asked the question, will a Jesuit be my successor? In this day and age, that's not a guarantee given the lower number of Jesuits available, and it's simply the number of high schools. I do believe there will be a Jesuit candidate, maybe more than one, but whether or not that's the best fit for Marquette High at this point in its history is yet to be determined. So the search committee will go through interview processes, and again try to identify the best person to lead Marquette High into its future, and that's been my express sort of dogged sort of comment to the board and to the search committee, that you want to make sure you get the best person who will fill this seat. Our hope, and I fully expect, that we will identify and have a person named by the spring, late March, early April, so that there can be some transition time with me and my successor to hopefully make kind of a smooth transition. My sense is that the start date for a new president will be July 1, which is kind of typical for these things. And again, I'm confident that we will find a leader who will be passionate about Marquette High, and will do wonderful things moving into our future. But again, I want to express my deep gratitude to the wider Marquette High community for these 10 years. It's been the privilege of my life to serve as president. So I'm very grateful for that, and again, hopeful for Marquette High's future.
We are going to be wrapping things up here shortly. And Jeff, maybe I'll just ask you, as you're scanning over the list of questions, is there anything on there that you see that you would still want to answer before we wrap things up? And my final question to you, as you're scanning over that list as well, to both of you, would just be, do you have a favorite moment from this school year, that you could share before we finalize things? So, Jeff, would you be ready to start that off?
Sure. And some of the questions are directly related, as you described, things like dates and summer opportunities and other such things. So, that information will be sent out to all the parents of the class of 2030. In terms of maybe one of my favorite moments of the year, I mean, there are always special moments during the year. One of the special moments I think of every year is when freshmen come into the gym to be welcomed by the student body for the first time, and you just sense the love that's in the room for our newest Hilltoppers. It always just brings chills, in the ways that our students are so open and welcoming of those who join this community. The other side, maybe favorite moment that I've had during the course of this academic year, and it's probably not a popular moment for the students, was when the faculty won the dodgeball game in our assembly in the first semester. So that was it was against the seniors. The seniors were not happy about it, nor were the rest of the students, but that was a favorite moment. Just coming together, having great fun with one another, the faculty, staff, and students together.
Father Marco, I'll tee it up for your final comments. Any special memories from this school year?
Yeah, every this is going to sound like a Hallmark card, I'm sure, but it's every day is a special day here at Market High in some way, shape, or form, right? One of the things I love about my job is it gives me the opportunity to greet the boys as they're coming in the morning, and just that interaction with them on a daily basis is just a wonderful experience. But I would highlight a couple things, and I noticed one of the questions in the chat was like, can our young men have fun at Market High? And my absolute emphatic answer to that question is absolutely. I mean, there is so much joy and so much fun that takes place. Homecoming week is a week that's filled with all kinds of activities where the boys are just given an opportunity to celebrate Market High. Jeff mentioned the dodgeball. Those are the kinds of things that just really give that sense of joy and excitement and fun to Market High. I would also say for me this year one of the highlights was our Mass of the Holy Spirit, where we were fortunate enough to have Archbishop Grob join us and preside at that liturgy. I think the boys were very impressed and inspired by him. It was just a really great day. He is such a good man, and I am so happy for the Archdiocese of Milwaukee that he has taken on leadership here. It was a special day here at Market High, and I think the entire community kind of felt that privilege and that specialness.
Thank you. And I know a special memory from me, a good marker in the admission season is that topper delivery day when we drive around and deliver those acceptances. And I know we can't make it to every house, but it is a really special day. And sharing that with the 20 houses that we did, or maybe it was 21 houses that we shared before Christmas. There is a video of that that's getting compiled. I saw a version of it today. So maybe even by the end of the week, we'll be able to release that video so everybody can see and enjoy that topper delivery day as well. So just to wrap things up here, certainly a thank you to Mike and Jeff, for all your leadership around the school, for spending time with us this evening, and just the ways that I've been able to learn and grow from you as well. So a deep sense of gratitude for all your leadership here at Marquette. I know there's questions we didn't get to answer tonight, so we will be following up with folks as well. So thanks for participating. Our next opportunity to gather will be on that Friday, January 23rd. That's when we'll have a pizza party in the Commons, and then stay for the varsity basketball game that night as well. There's no cost to that event, but we do ask that you register. So there's a checklist item in final site enrollment to register, just to make sure we have enough pizza ready to go for that night. The deadline to fill out that intent to enroll form is at the end of the month. That's January 31st. That's the other checklist item you'll see in your final site enrollment checklist, is filling out intent to enroll. The mandatory meeting that we're looking forward to is on that Tuesday, February 10th. And that's also in the evening at 7 p.m. And that's really where we'll go through that course selection process and explain all of that for freshman year. That meeting is for parents and students. So we will all be gathering in the auditorium on February 10th. So have a great night. Thanks for spending your evening with us. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
God bless everybody.